太小了，
太小了。有气。
好，不然就这样啦，不然就这样，就开一个，就我只要看到那2个人脸啦，你只要让我看到那2个脸就好。另外那2个脸，我要看得到就可以。
好，我把
对，你把其他的关掉，太好了。然后我看到我自己的，我看到我自己的脸，看到他们2个脸，然后其他的人都关掉。对，好，这个也把它关掉。OK， 好，这样可以。好，然后我们可以调一下我们的镜头，然后我可以把镜头稍微紧一点，就到这边到这边就可以，然后上面到这边到这边，就是可不可以再压低一点点？
可是我要 shark。
对，它的 shark 没有入镜，它的 shark 没有入镜，对，可以把它 shark 入镜一下。好，头再多留一点点，
头再多。
OK， 这样可以，不用太多，对，好，这样 OK 吗
？Yeah, I'm good.
You're good. You're good. Okay. Can we hear? Dorota, can you hear us well?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Dorota, well, I don't know why you can't hear me.
这个可以帮我开声音吗？因为我听不到对方的声音。
My mic is.
I can see you.
对。不是麦克风，是声音，不是麦克风。
是 Dina 的台东。
因为麦克风是这一台，对。声音，耳机的声音。
That having problem.
没有啊，
那个你可以 test 那是那个吗？
是我们的耳机线。
对啊。
但是它要一起开。
不会啊，耳机跟麦克风可能一起。
That having.
你刚把灯关了，你可以把它重新打开吗？
好，我懂了。
这个
好 OK，
因为我们现在听不到声音，
它是要同步开，对不对？
对啊。
哦，有了。对，可是你这样会听到我们自己的声音哦。
我知道。
你知道，我又没有办法，因为我本来想要避免这样。
I know.
OK，sorry， 好啊，那我们就要忍耐一下。好，我们就只好忍耐。
Hi Dorota.
But at least I get
my
own volume. Hi. Okay.
Hi Diana.
Hello, it's Dina. But it's
Dina.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard the next 2 hours. I have to listen to my own voice and yours twice. Okay, so are we on air? 直播已经开了吗？好像已经开了。哦，好，对不起。好 ，Okay, now it's 10:12. We are only 42 minutes late. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tim Chen, and sitting next to me is my good friend Jenny.
Hi.
And also on this in Taitung, there is Dina.
Hello.
And then also in Hakuba, Japan, is Dorota.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Right. So the four of us is going to share with you for the next an hour and a half about what it's like to do homeschooling in Taiwan. And let me introduce myself first. And I'm a homeschool dad of 15 years of experience, and my oldest kid is already 22 and going on to 23 this year, and then she's now based in the US, and she's been homeschooled since she was 5, and so she homeschooled throughout her entire 12 years of national education, and she started in the US, starting performing. And I have a 17-year-old son who will be 18, and he's now on the 11th grade of high school homeschooling. And then I have a younger daughter who is now on the 4th grade and is also homeschooled. So we have homeschooled throughout all their national education periods. And to my right, Jenny, I'm trying to look at the screen and think to my right. And Jenny has been also homeschooling for almost as long as I am. And
no, only half.
Only half. Okay,
Yes.
so Jenny being homeschool only half, and then her kids are now the 12th grades, and the son, and now the girl is moving on to the 10th grade now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's 9th grade, moving to 10th grade, and connecting from Taidong, we just lost them, I think, and it's Dina.
I'm here.
She's been homeschooled for almost as long as we are, and but I don't see her on the screen now. So
Oh, really?
She's back. She's back. Yeah, and her oldest is in the military now, and then there's a boy and the daughter. Right, there's three of you, right?
No.
No.
Four.
I have 5.
5.
You're 5. Okay. I lose count. I better let you do it. Yeah, give us an overview, a quick overview of this family of 5.
A family of 5. Okay.
7, including mom and dad.
Joshua, my oldest, he is in his 2nd year of military. He signed up for 4 years. My second son is graduating and going to college in Taiwan. He's a senior this year. Then my next one is 10th grade this year. And then my oldest daughter is 11 and in 6th grade. And my youngest is 7 in 1st grade. So I'll be homeschooling for the next, 12 years? 11 years? So, yeah, there we go. 3 boys and 2 girls. So I'll have high school, junior high, and elementary next year. It's only 3.
Right. So Dina represents a typical homeschool family in Taiwan. You know, just 5 kids.
No, it's not typical.
But for those of you who are from North America, that's probably just below average size of homeschooling family. Yeah, excellent. And of course, joining us from Japan, Hakuba is Dorota, and whose offspring size and age happen to coincide with mine. And there's no coincidence because we are we're couples. We're
Our
wives. So.
Although we haven't seen each other for a very, very, very long time. Haven't lived under one roof for, my gosh, I don't know, half a year soon.
It's Chinese New Year. Yeah.
Well,
So,
no.
like everyone else, we are all taking shelter in place. And I want to thank all of you to join this conference today. Apology for the late start and due to the technical issue. And it's entirely my fault because I try to make the sound and the video a little bit better. A result of that, I managed to screw up the default setting. And so we're now back to the default settings. And so all for a very good experience. Right. So, and I'm going to do a very quick overview about homeschooling in Taiwan for those who are not familiar with situation in Taiwan. Taiwan is an island somewhere between Japan and Philippines on the sort of like west of Pacific. That's how I would like to call it. And so we have about, at the moment, around just over 10,000 people who are doing experimental education, and about half of them are doing what's called non-school mode. So that includes homeschooling, a co-op, or like a pseudo.
Uh-oh. I didn't do it. Oh, you're muted. There you go.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, okay.
Uh-oh.
Oi.
Right.
Where did they? Ah.
The joys of technology.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
He froze.
They're
we are
offline.
offline. They are on it now.
Oh my gosh.
Something problem.
That's sad. Okay. Okay, you're back. Oh. We can see you. We can see you now, but you're moving.
I see you. And my screen, I'm at the very bottom on my screen.
Yeah, exactly. So they can only see me. Wow. Oh boy.
Where they are?
Well, I only see Tim, you, and me.
Well, I would see everybody if everybody had the camera on, but they have off.
Yeah, true. Yes.
没有声音。没有。
Hello.
没有声音。Okay, what is Jenny writing?
你们可以聊聊天。
No.
I can hear you. Oh, no.
No.
Sorry.
No.
I'm getting confused.
You can hear me, but you cannot hear them.
Yes.
No, not here.
Tomorrow.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh, there's someone else. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
I'm Joe. I can speak Chinese.
Yeah, we can sing. Yeah.
Yeah. 中文 OK 啦。
Yeah, 可以。
可以哈。
可以。
很想也听到他们。
Yay, we're back.
哎，他们有
听到他
Alright,
们了。
alright. Can you guys hear and see us?
Yes, if we can hear ourselves, then they can hear us.
Very clearly.
Okay, now, so
You
without
again.
further ado, I'm going to introduce our first speaker today, and Jenny, who is going to give us a overview of how her homeschooling is done in Taiwan.
I have a son who is 17, going to the States for college right now. And I have a daughter who is going to 10th grade. And still being homeschooled in Taiwan. And with an international family in Taiwan, it's actually relatively easy. In terms of the application, in terms of trying to walk through the process, that's all pretty straightforward. I think a lot of people would face a lot of problems with the language, me, myself included. When I first started writing this application, I really didn't know how to articulate my thoughts in Chinese well enough to do all this. But once the language barrier is somewhat overcome, then everything else was actually easy. The only thing that I would caution the international family is trying to sort out how you want to set up your curriculum to satisfy what your needs are. Like, for example, in my family, we are a bilingual family. So trying to put emphasis or equal amount of weight on both Chinese and English, that took some thinking and planning. Based on the child's, I wouldn't say career, but based on the child's objective and goal and what they would like to do in the future. One language might be more the major language to learn, and the other one may be the second, more the second language to learn, but they still grow up as a bilingual child. So here are some of my thoughts on top of my head. And the second thing that I would want to talk to the international families in Taiwan about is I would try to encourage you to go through this process to apply for homeschooling in Taiwan. Not only you can get a lot of resources, but also you can increase your child's experience as far as local culture, making friends, and a lot more interactions in Taiwan, regardless how long you're going to be here. So these are the two things that I would strongly suggest and for the family to consider.
Well, thank you, Jenny, for sharing her thoughts on the homeschool applications. And now I'd like to ask Dina to share with us on her thoughts on her experience of applying for homeschooling in Taiwan, or in Taidong in particular, which is a rural area in the east coast of Taiwan. And for those who are not familiar with the geography.
The country
over the river, over the river and through the woods to Taidong we go. Okay. When we started homeschooling my oldest, we were actually he was the third homeschool student in Taidong. So can you hear me okay? Okay. So
I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, here. You
hear me okay? Okay. 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 So should I keep going or do I just keep going?
I don't know. They can hear me.
Should I keep going? Oh, I hear myself.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess just keep going, Tim.
Wait. Like, I don't know what the problem is.
I don't want to go and then have to repeat myself.
Yeah.
Over again.
Yeah. I can hear myself over there.
Hello?
Hello? Okay?
Yeah. More long.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Okay, give them.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, okay.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, well, my oldest.
Oh, but they froze.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're freezing.
I hear them though.
Okay. Yeah?
Okay, well, we'll start again. Take 3. My oldest was the third homeschooler in Taidong. So we have seen a huge change between his first grade year and where we are now. There's been a lot of good changes. There was a period of time where we had their education registered in America. And Tim convinced me it's easier now in Taiwan. Bring them back, put them in Taiwan. I think he lied to me, but that's okay. But we have decided, because our children are dual citizens, that in the event they want to do things in Taiwan, that they need to have the option of having the Taiwan diploma education system. So we prefer that. The way we homeschool is not popular in Taiwan. It's kind of unschooling, more popular in America than in Taiwan. And we get through it. Our biggest hurdle is the proposals, and because I do think when they change committee members, everyone's idea changes. Are we gone again? Can you hear me?
No, just keep going.
I'm here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't worry
you had
about
this
it.
look on your face like.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I have seen in the past.
You need to speak up a little bit.
Oh, I'm speaking. Okay, I'm up as far as I can. Okay, where's my microphone? Okay, does that work better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, I'll take my earphones off then. All right, okay. I have seen a great change in the past few years with homeschooling. In Taiwan, for the international families in Taiwan, they like to focus on the Chinese, English, and math. They want to see that really a lot. It's very difficult because in Taidong, I don't know about the rest of Taiwan. In Taidong, we have a lot of our committee members are school principals. So they have the idea that it should be like school. So, yeah. So, one year we had soap making class. Well, that's good for a hobby, but where's your English, Chinese, and math? And
chemistry.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, I explained to them surfing for PE is just fine, and we can actually do Chinese and English and environment and science through our surfing class. But it's very difficult for Asian committee members to understand that it's not a box curriculum that we use. And my children, they use their Chinese classes, but because I am the teacher, and even though I'm fluent in Chinese, I teach math and English because that's all I can do. I think it's just in Taidong, it's still they don't see as it's a small world in Taidong. So I don't think they're able to understand that. Like one of my children was asked, "Oh, so you picked English math because it's easier than Taiwan math?" And I was not there when that happened. So when I had a meeting, I'm American, so I'll be very straightforward with you. And I told them they had no right to ask my child that question because I'm the one who picked the curriculum and I am the teacher. So if there is an issue, please ask me, not my children. So, and we also add on the fact that my children are indigenous because my husband is from Taiwan. And we just found out they're just realizing that my children are indigenous. So, my children have gone to the national sports competitions. My children do sports. And yes, one year I went to check off indigenous. And they're like, "Oh, no, Mom, he's indigenous. They have to have proof they're indigenous. He's not indigenous." I said, "His father's indigenous." But sometimes they see the foreign face and assume we don't know anything.
Yeah.
At our end of the year show and tell, I don't know what you call it.
Show and tell.
Fuller got talent.
No, I do. Most foreigners do not like. I don't know about other places, but we do not like that. It's a show and tell. Show off time. But they will go, and other foreign parents figure that out too. That they would go to the Chinese parent and discuss this stuff. They wouldn't come to the American or foreign parent. And my children laughed and they said, that's because daddy looks nicer.
Hmm.
And because they probably know what I'll say. But the biggest thing that we've heard this year, this is new this year, they've asked all my children, do you have friends?
No,
Every child was asking that. My kids are like, yeah, why are you asking me that question? But for homeschooling, there are a lot of options for international families to get involved in outside of school activities and inside of school. Most of the schools are very open for their after school programs to let you come in and join. We don't, I give my children the option, and most of them are saying no. My youngest likes basketball, so she wants to do something at the school. But my children are all involved in martial arts. So we have outside of the school, we have our own activities. So there's no issues of can they make friends or can they not make friends? They do make friends. And as a bilingual family, ask my children what they speak at home, and they will tell you they speak Chinglish, plain and simple. Because I speak in English, they speak Chinese back to me. So I know they're not going to be the same level as the Taiwanese students. They're not going to be the same level as American students, but they're doing what's for them. My one in high school now, he's gone from the fun with high schooling in homeschool, how do you say that? In Taiwan, they get to pick what they want to pick. I know same level as so my third son is doing art, woodwork and spray paint art as his next year thing. So
cool.
in Taiwan, the options for homeschooling, they're good. I personally, it's my personal thing, I do not like all the paperwork. I do it in
Me neither.
I think it's just that's the Taiwan culture of seeing lots of everything on paper, and whether it's done that way or not is another thing. But I think that paperwork is overbearing and unnecessary, the amount that they need. But I also understand that that's what's needed for our freedom to homeschool. So I mean, there's other places in the world that are worse. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a small thing to do. I mean, there's enough options for people to help. A committee member this last time made the comment of our end of the year report. You could just write it in English. I said, but in Chinese, you say Chinese only. Oh? I said, yeah. So they didn't realize that. I do think the biggest thing that, for me as the American, is that there's no consistency. Everything changes, and this for forms, they changed again this year. So there's no rhyme or reason sometimes. But for international families, especially on the East Coast, it's a great place to homeschool. They're very, you can talk to them, and they easily work things out with the families. We've had some problems, but nothing that we can't overcome. So I mean, it's a good place, I think, in Taiwan, because you're able to do so much for international families. So.
Great. Thanks very much. And speaking of the amount of paperwork is needed for homeschooling, I would like to give the floor to Dorota, who is now being inundated by other homeschoolers' paperwork.
Completely, totally. Not long ago. Yeah, not long ago, I finished reading 90 some proposals, applications from Taipei. And now I am reading 58 proposals from New Taipei City. And right now, I am certain that we have to put a limit on the number of pages that are allowed.
Yeah.
How long
Yes.
the proposal should be.
I absolutely agree.
When I get a proposal that is 70 pages long or 60 pages long, I'm just overwhelmed. It's just too much. Too much. No need to write a thesis about the homeschooling and what you're gonna do with the child and how are you gonna do it. It's just plain and simple is the way to go. So there should be the top limit. But well, year after year, there are more and more people who apply for homeschooling. And I think this year is the record year. That is going to be, there are really, really loads of people trying to apply. I mean, applying already. And, but there is, the applications are in two extremes, go to two extremes. Either very simple, like saying, why do you care what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be teaching my child? It's my right to do it, period. Or going into 50, 60, 70 pages long. So one has to find somewhere, in between of all this. And then it's, fine. Yeah. So I don't know. Anything else about application team that you want me to say?
That's a very good insight. Two things. One is that as an international applicant, one could apply in English, but one should provide a Chinese translation, if not an abridged version. It's like a clip notes. So, that's the kind of thing you need to do. But also it's important to remember that people who read your application may not understand English fully. So they'll rely largely on your Chinese version or your Chinese translation for application purpose. And Jenny?
Tim, I've met a lot of international families, and when they came to me asking for advice, I usually tell them that to have their application translated. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to do so. Just like you said, at least to provide an abstract or a summary of your application. And most of the review board members don't really look into that much of a detail if it's all written in English. Mm. And some of us can, but not all. Mm. And then it's important for them to understand what your applications is about. Mm. Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, I would like to open up for some questions from our participant. We are halfway through our conference, even though the first 5/5 of the halfway we're trying to figure out how to get sound and video. But I would love to hear. And so if you have any questions for our panel, and just, yell, I don't know how to do it.
Raise your hand.
We can ask questions in Chinese. Actually, all of us can understand Chinese.
Yeah, we can all speak Chinese.
Yeah, and we're just speaking English to give our technical staff a hard time. That's why it takes so long to do it. So, anybody, 有没有人对于我们今天在讨论的这个议题想要提出问题的？可以举手发问。
你需要开聊天室吗？这样
哦，可以。
哦。哦，有14个人。Oh my god! Thank you. 啊。 Okay, let's see what questions we have. We don't have any question. Oh, how? Okay, so if no more question, then I'm going to ask the question.
Okay.
So, this first question is going to Jenny.
Yes.
Your homeschooler also has a quite busy career life at a young age. How do you balance work, life, and study?
Well, my kids are, well, how should I put this? They took a different path, and they change their minds all the time too. They've been really busy, and the parents can do is just to support what they want to do. Because they have the mind of their own. They don't really listen to their parents anyway.
I thought that was not a homeschool exclusive. That sounds like all the teenager mom and dad is facing right now.
Specifically for homeschoolers, they are actually a lot more determined. They're actually very set on their goals. They're not easily persuaded by other people because they have their own thoughts and they are very independent. So from that perspective, homeschoolers are actually harder to deal with as a teenager than I would say regular students who go to school. They were very busy because they made themselves to be, and they wanted to experience so many different lives, I guess. And then until now, my oldest, who is 17, graduating from 12th grade, and has decided that he wanted to put all that behind, and then he wanted to go to college, which is fine as well. And it's just, he took a huge turn from what he wanted to do before, which is okay. And the second one, who is going to 10th grade, she certainly has been keeping herself busy. She is very much into art and performing. So she's continuing to do that. And then she's being trained to be an athlete. So from that perspective, I actually have a lot of experience to share with Dina because we both have kids who are in the sports. Yeah.
So Dina, you mentioned earlier about your kids are competing at the national games, and what are the benefits and challenges of being a homeschool athlete in Taiwan?
My oldest has competed my oldest competed his senior year in the Chinese Sanda. The benefits are going there. Then you also have college scouts and colleges and universities that are looking for team members. And so, I mean, that he did not want to study. He's our dumb jock, and it's going live. But he had three coaches from 3 different universities come and ask him to sign. He said no to all of them. But there's that because they're at the place where they can. The benefits are they can get seen by different universities and different coaches. We have, because the Sanda is not in Taidong in high school or junior high, we have our own coach. So our own coach, he knows people versus just a coach at a school. I think that our private coaches have more broad world of sports and different contacts. And of course, with homeschooling, you have my kids, they had to go to Guangshan, so they take the train up to Guangshan, trained there for the day, spent the night, and came back on the train. they have the independence to do that. They don't have to worry about tests and this study and that study. They can do and train how they need to train. And with our high school, our oldest two did sports for high school. So we did sports education, sports nutrition classes. We did sports injury care classes, sports psychology classes, different stuff that they would be able to use if they keep going. The disadvantage is when one year we had the person in charge of homeschooling, who was just like, you need to contact so-and-so and hang up on us. For high school, they were no help whatsoever. And so a lot of stuff we had to go, and since in Taidong, they've never had a homeschooler compete in any sports games in high school. They had no earthly idea. And I'm sure that they probably contacted all these different places of what to do. So I think the difficulty is running to the Department of Education. They have no idea what to do or how to write people down or whatnot. So now this time they wrote me down as the coach, Ling Dui. So I get to join in the fun. But it's when when my son was in the class competition, they read off, because they put down the entire Taidong Xin 非学校形态实验教育 it's like really long, and they read off the entire thing, and people are like, what is that? So I just think because there's not enough kids that really actually from homeschool that actually do it, there's no idea of what to do. I do think a disadvantage is in the schools. The schools help them for money if they win. There's money they can, but in Taidong, they could care less. Honestly, we've never got. My kids have gotten first, second, and third, and never anything. So it's we know we're pioneers in the athletics homeschool sports area. There's not much of a support system in Taiwan for athletes. We know around the world, most athletes have had to homeschool to keep going and prosper in their chosen area. But that's one thing that in Taiwan, there's not much support for. We tried to have a Facebook for homeschool athletes, and it's still a lot of pick and choose. It's not very active. Because we have run into other people who said schools don't want them to come in, or they change up times, or you're not in school, so you're not considered in the ring of things. So you're the last to find out. Oh, by the way, why aren't you at practice today? So we have chosen outside of school stuff. It's much easier, but it's possible. I think it's a great way for homeschoolers to meet. Homeschooling is not being stuck at home. That's not the purpose of homeschooling. Homeschooling is being able to go out in the community and meet more people, different age groups, and find your ability and communicate with more people instead of one age. But we'll see how it goes. My daughter is going into junior high, and she wants to go to the national competition someday too. So we'll see. They're not getting rid of us, so.
Very well said. Well, thank you, Dina. It's not easy to be athletes in Taiwan, Taiwan athlete student anyway, but being a homeschool student is even harder because of the lack of information or the delay in transmission and so on and so forth. But also it's very much a regional thing. In Taipei, where information is more transparent, and I recently speak to the director of the newly formed homeschool center in Taipei, and he's making a point that they are launching a portal for all the events, informations, competitions, scholarship, etc., available on the portal. So I guess we just need to make them translate into English at the same time, or turn on the Google Translate, and that would be perfect for the international community. And so we are interviewing 3 different international homeschool families in Taiwan, and age from primary to senior high school. So if you have any questions about how they do it, about curriculum, about extracurricular activity, or anything else, please either write a line or raise your hand, and we can call you on, and you can talk to us. You can talk to us in English as well as in Chinese. So, yeah, sure, Dorota, go ahead.
Questions on YouTube.
Okay.
If you could, should I read it or?
Yeah, if you could, actually, I should look at the YouTube, but I'm not doing it. So thank you for being our YouTube moderator.
Okay, so Amber Skarovsky is asking, 请问有双重国际的孩子在台湾参加美国的高中线上自学 program， 也需要在台湾申请自学吗？
不需要，但是会建议。
Okay, so would you like to elaborate, or that's all the answer you're going to give? Oh, Dorota can jump in.
Yeah, Dorota, go ahead.
Oh,
I'm having some, because I have 2 things open, so I'm having some problems with the.
But we're having a downpour here, so if you hear the rain.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear the rain.
Oh, so that is the rain. Okay.
That's me.
Yeah.
And
But if I put my earphones on, you can't hear me very well.
Right. So who's going to elaborate on Chinese very insightful comments?
well, if you do not apply for homeschooling in Taiwan, you're not gonna have a Taiwanese diploma.
Right.
So that's the only thing. If you want to have a Taiwanese diploma, the certificate of finishing the high school in Taiwan, then you have to apply. Because Taiwanese universities and other, they not necessarily are going to recognize the online American program. So I think that's the shortest answer.
Most of them don't recognize it, correct?
Yeah, most don't.
Yeah, not to mention you actually get a subsidy from the government for high school homeschooling.
No.
See, there's a Chinese saying, so the thicker the proposal you write, the more money you get. Sorry, though.
That's not true.
That's not true.
No. I do not enjoy reading the 80-page application.
Well, I think in my situation, we always we really focus on our kids and what they want to do. I mean, if they're going to eventually, they have the idea of going to college in America, then they're going to need to have that for transcripts. They want to go to college in Taiwan, then they're going to need to have the Taiwan side of things. So I think the kids really need to understand, which is very difficult for teenage boys, decide 2 weeks before school starts, what they want to do or have an idea for it. I think that's the biggest thing there. I mean, even if they want to go to school, some people want to go to university in Japan, so they're going to have to change their program to having a lot of Japanese focus type of stuff, or German, or there's a lot of people that go to Germany for school here, I think.
Yeah,
so I think that's the freedom, I think, of homeschool high school in Taiwan, is they can, if they're able to understand and have understand what they want to do, then they can just spend those years focusing and preparing. But if they don't know what they want to do, I would definitely suggest doing Taiwan. That gives them options at the end, because if you don't have all that stuff, it's and again, it depends on what area is. We've never been asked for transcripts. I mean, for grades in Taiwan. We've never been asked for grades. So when my son decides he wants to go to this college and they ask for grades, I'm like, I asked the Department of Education, well, let me talk to them, because we don't have grades. I said, you've never asked for, we can't give out grades. I said, I give out the grades. I just need you to stamp it. But it depends on what area you are in, and people, what their idea of things are too. But like, if they don't know what they're going to do, I would suggest the Taiwan program and adjust it as you go. You have 3 years, and you can adjust it each time.
We just basically you just apply, and you do with the online American online curriculum. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another question. Should I want to answer?
Viewers' question really boiled down. Oh, sorry. Yeah, take the no. I don't. I think you guys have answered it very well. And if we still cannot convince her the merit of applying Taiwan, then there's no point of.
Okay, another question from Amber is, how does someone participate in a sport as a homeschooler? For example, if my son wants to play baseball at a school and has the skills, how do you make this happen? Approach the school directly?
Yes. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yes.
No, that's an even more concise answer than the last one.
Well, yes, like when we go, because when you register for homeschooling, you at one point in time you're going to have to talk to the school anyway, and then I've told them, I said, hey, my daughter likes basketball. What after school? Do you have a basketball team or basketball after school program? And just put that, we have that in all of our things. Our children will look at the after school programs and sports programs, and the school agrees to that. So I think you have to be very vocal. You can't just, oh, why didn't anyone tell me? Because that does not work in Taiwan. They will not tell you. You have to take the initiative and say, this is what I want to do. How can you help me? Or, oh, I hear you have this program. We want to join it. It's a part of being very vocal.
Yes. Thank you, Dina, for demonstrating a very bossy Lao Wai mom.
That's me.
Well, this year I have reviewed quite a few applications that are focused on sports. For example, gymnastics, table tennis. All these kids, they all wanted to join the school team. And if you have approached the school and then tell them what you need and what your desire is, you often can work out a comprehensive homeschooling curriculum for your kid, including the sports. Yeah. If your kid is in high school, what you need to do is to collaborate with the high school that you think that they have the best team for your child. For example, my daughter is actually an individual athlete, so she doesn't really have to belong to a school team. So what we had to do is we just needed to talk to our sports association to make sure that she can still compete nationally and internationally. And that is the difference.
Yes, but another thing is when you want your child to compete or to do sports at school and you're a homeschooler, very often you need to find the school that is specifically for that sport, that is concentrating on that sport. So when it comes to baseball, there are schools that do baseball. Not necessarily the school that is in your district that you are supposed to apply through for your homeschooling would be the one that has that sport that is supporting it. So that is another thing. You might have to talk to different schools and not the district school.
Yeah. Dorota has a point, because I think the first and foremost is to understand for your child's discipline. Like Jenny was saying, that whether it's individual event or it's a group event, it may require different support from the school. And also, school used to be quite puzzled by the fact that homeschooler only comes for training and not comes for the academic study. And that's what the whole point, isn't it? So, but the schools find it very confusing, because traditionally teams are trained and studied and sleep and eat together. So, for them, that's a bit difficult to understand. But over the years, there have been more and more homeschool athletes, even in the team sports, baseballs, and many others. So gymnastics, yeah. So I think the schools are more receiving, they are more understanding now. But like Dorota said, you need to really understand which school has the team that your kids need, and then you deal with the whole registration of school 学籍 from there on, and then you apply for homeschooling accordingly. Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. So, any other questions?
I don't
Not
see
in
any
with the
questions
school-
online.
In with the school right now, I think. We did have a homeschooler here that I understand asked the physical education school, 体中, about doing sports, being at their school as well as homeschooling. And the 体中, they said that that's okay. So the physical education schools, I don't think they actually follow through and actually end up doing that. But that is also an option as well for kids, if it's a good school that you want to go into. But like, yes, finding that school and just going in and working with them. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's just because it's rarely done, but it's becoming more and more and more. People are realizing it's okay to do that. But
yeah, from what I could see from the applications that I have reviewed, for elementary schools, a lot of homeschoolers, they study academics at home with parents or with other resources, but for the training and then the competitions, they go back to school for that. So they do join the school teams, and they train with them, they compete with them as part of the school. So I've seen that for gymnastics, I've seen that for table tennis. There are other sports that are not like team sports, so they do it and deal with it a little bit differently.
And I don't know whether Amber's question was far easier than we try to answer it. Maybe she was just want to know, can my kid go to the PE class?
No, it was about baseball, okay?
Maybe nobody wants to be an athlete like all of you. So,
well, we have two parents right here who are athletes' parents, so we have a very long answer.
That's right. We did have a very long answer. Now, on the question of curriculum, because it was brought up, how does one design a curriculum? Because earlier the question was, if one just follow the U.S. High school curriculum and with intention of going to university, can one just ignore all the Chinese character writing and all that stuff?
Do you really want us to answer that one?
No, that was a rhetorical question.
Yeah, exactly. Probably if the kids had a choice, then yes, they would choose to ignore Chinese completely. But then at one point of time, they do realize that it is needed. So if you're staying in Taiwan long enough and your child gets to that age that he realizes that, yes, Chinese is needed, both in not only the spoken Chinese, but the written, and they need to know how to read and write, then, you know, they would turn around by themselves and start learning it.
Yeah.
That would be much less painful than standing over them and making them rewrite characters 20 times. So.
Yes, especially when they need to apply for the tuition subsidies. So between them and 2,000 US dollars is to complete their name and address and ID number in characters. Now, so one other question is the application. So we talk about it has to be in Chinese. How about the interviews? You know, as a homeschool mom or dad who has limited Mandarin ability beyond 多少钱？谢谢。How does one go about facing the interview with the review committee?
Well, again, it all depends on the committee. So, but you are not gonna know who is in the committee in advance. So you have to be prepared and basically bring a translator, bring a person who is familiar with your curriculum, with whatever you want to do at home. You have to fill somebody in all those information. So there would be your voice, you know, in front of the committee members.
How about the home visit? What does one need to do? Do I need to bake a bread?
Yes, please.
Yes, you have to prepare cookies, bread, and cakes, and have some soft drinks and coffee, lots of coffee and everything. Yeah.
And change the flower in the vase?
Yes, definitely. And groom the dog and the other pets that you have around. Yeah.
Now, I think that international
I like mango.
Go ahead, Tina.
International families need to be prepared and know that ahead of time that someone's going to come to your house. Because as an American, I don't like that.
To me,
I feel that's an invasion of privacy, and I do feel that it's my children. Home is my children's safe space. Personally, our home address is at our church, so we have it at our church. But we do again, it depends on the committee. I've heard of people saying that people have gone and checked the kids' rooms and checked places and bathrooms and how clean they are. I have heard stories about that.
Well, this is part of the COVID inspection.
Well, act like social workers or something. So I do think that international community needs to understand that what the process is, and it's not in America. They don't do house visits unless you're called on by unless the Department of Child Protective Services has had someone has called them and said that the children are not being taken care of, they're not being educated, and they're hungry. Then a social worker will show up at your house. So to us as Americans, that's kind of an idea of what's going on. But I need to understand that's not what it is. I think in that type of the different cultural there, because that's the big thing with the homeschooling cross-cultural. You're in a different culture, so there are some things that it's very hard for us to take. Even I've been here for 24 years. I still don't want them in my house because they want to see, oh, what kind of curtains do you have? Oh, what kind of stuff do you have? Well, the foreigners, our first 3 years of homeschooling, they would come in and they would do that. That they wanted to see what Americans' house looked like. They simply said that. But that for me, that meant you're here to look at my kids' stuff, and depart. I mean, it's So I mean, I think that international families understand they're not supposed to be coming to criticize your house and your house cleaning skills. I would definitely fail there, but they're coming to see your kids' stuff, and that's part of that. That's part of, because in schools they're supposed to come and visit the children's houses at school. They're supposed to make home visits at school as well. I mean, that's their job. Because as a homeschool committee, these kids, you have approved these children, so you do have a responsibility. And so going and visiting, you're making sure everything's going smoothly in case something needs to be reported.
Well, so with the home visit for the homeschoolers, it is always, a member of the homeschooling review committee that is going, and also a representative from the school. So it's either the home class teacher or the 教育处 or whatever, somebody else from the school. So it's only because I think the school has the right to check on the kids. That is why homeschooling review board can also go in.
Right.
And in Taipei, we are also required to take pictures of the child's room.
Okay.
Yeah. But some people say that they prefer to meet somewhere else. And then we meet at the school. Then we meet in the conference room in the school. So that is also possible. You can decline. If there are no other reasons for the homeschooling committee to visit you or the school to visit you, like, everything is going smoothly, then we may have this visit at school. You can bring all your children's materials and whatever you've been doing and basically show everything on the school grounds.
Yeah, I just think that as internationals, they need to understand that that's part of the process. It's not, like you said, it's not like someone's reported you for not taking care of your children.
Yeah.
So all these people are going to show up. It's part of the process that it's not
Yes.
should not be an issue.
Right. It's nothing personal, and it's what the government were here to help.
Most, yeah.
Okay, now we still got about
There is
15
another
minutes.
question. There's a question.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So,
question.
question online. Okay, I will read it. It's pretty long, so listen carefully. I'm watching the presentation now. We just received our ARC card 1 week ago, so we missed homeschooling deadline for the next semester. We had wanted to send the children to the public school for Chinese only. Would I need to send them to public school for first semester, then apply for homeschooling for the second semester in 2021? What are my options? My kids are 8 and 11 years old. For the next semester. We had wanted.
Okay. This is in YouTube?
No, that's on our line group, THEX.
Oh, THEX. Oh, okay. Sorry. This is a multi-channel issue. I understand. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Right. Yeah. So maybe I'll start with this one. Yes, you missed the deadline. So what you need to do is to prepare for the next application cycle, which is in October, and you'll be enrolled in a public school in September as a transfer student for 8 and 11. So and just start preparing your homeschool application, and remember to submit by the end of October so you can start homeschooling in February.
Yeah, so
You can
basically,
only start school right now to figure out if you can put your kids in school for Chinese class only for this period of time.
But it will be up to the school because it can be difficult in the way that there are limited number of hours you can be absent from the school for them to qualify as completed that semester. So you may have to do more than just Chinese.
But for international schools, usually schools are very lenient.
But he's talking about enrolling in the public school.
Right. I mean, for international families, the public schools are very lenient.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
basically depends on the school, the district.
For
Because some school in Taipei are not going to take a child because that's simply oversubscribed and it's undoable.
Yeah.
But we don't know where this
Yeah,
person is.
we don't know. So it's.
We don't know. Okay. So 10 more minutes. Any more questions? If there are no more questions, there's enough time to sing 2 songs.
Definitely not me.
The Bible hymn of homeschool mom, whatever that may be. No, I can keep asking questions since there are no other questions.
So those people are in Ta'an district. Yeah, so that is
Ta'an district.
A problem.
Congratulations. Yeah.
So would need to probably be enrolled at school.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you need to talk to the school.
Wait. Although Xinsheng, they do have a program for foreign kids, for only Chinese. Yep. Okay, if that person, please join the Facebook group, Taiwanese, how is it? It's called Children, oh my gosh, foreign parents with kids in Taiwanese schools. Parents with kids in Taiwanese schools.
There's a homeschool group for everything.
Yeah. So people in that group might help. Huh?
Wait, but you are homeschool. This is
That's
for
why
parents.
I never knew.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah. So parents for kids who are in Taiwanese school.
Parents with kids in Taiwanese schools.
Oh, parents with kids in
Taiwanese schools.
Very well.
And because there'll be many questions asked, tell them that Dorota sent you.
Right, and you'll get a 50 NT off.
No, you're going to get a golden badge. Yeah, golden ticket. Yeah.
Okay.
The golden kid ticket.
Right. So let's talk about resources. Here is a book written by a well-known homeschool family in Taiwan. I don't know. They look so familiar on the cover of the book. And,
we do, not the kids.
Oh, yeah. But it's all in Chinese. So it kind of completely defeats the purpose of today's conference call. But never mind. In the back, there is a handbook on how to apply and all the questions you need to ask about homeschooling, but too shy to ask. So it's available in all good bookstore. If you can't find it in your local bookstore, it's not good. So, and it's called My Home is an International School. 我家就是国际学校. Highly recommended. And other resources are Facebook group, Learn at Home in Taiwan. @ is written as like a @ sign. Oh, thank you. Yeah, 小老鼠. Yeah. And you should go there and find out more about homeschooling in Taiwan. And my blog, homeschool.tw, I have written in English 7 steps of becoming a homeschooler in Taiwan, from things like applications to home visit to everything else. So these are the things that you can do. And Dorota also keep a blog, but it's in Polish.
Right now it's in Polish, yes.
So you can turn on the Google Translate function inside the browser. Then you can read it in whatever language you prefer.
Now everybody the Learn at Home page. So
right, Learn at Home page, and there are homeschool meetup in various different cities. So just look up, and we have a line group called Taiwan Homeschool Exchange. But line is kind of hard to search and join. So I don't know, leave a message underneath and then we'll post it. Or Dorota can help to post it. Yeah. And in the chat room. And so I think we still have just enough time to have a 1 minute quick word from each of our panel. So we'll go the reverse order from Dorota first. Dorota, would you like to?
I'm right now dealing with all those pages.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So maybe Dorota will speak later. She's sharing all the pages right now. So Dina, 1 minute last word of encouragement or despair.
Did you lose her?
Okay, that is very despair. Jenny, 1 minute of encouragement.
For international families, I don't think it's so bad to actually go through the process to apply. It's really easy, actually. Once you go through it once, it's really not that much of a work. And it really opens up a lot of options for you. I have talked to many families who came to me for advice, international families. So I have helped them with the application process and things like that. And it all worked out fine. For homeschooling families in general, just keep experimenting, keep trying. That's all we can do.
Very good. Thank you very much, Jenny, for the very encouraging words. And it's not that scary, and especially now there are many of you or us, and really, we're reading more and more international family and homeschool families applying Taiwan. And even if you live outside Taiwan, you can always come to Taiwan and apply for homeschool and get a job and, enjoy the COVID-free place.
Well, yeah, first you need to be let in. I think they disappeared.
They keep going on and off, on and off.
I think they're off. Oops. Don't know what happened, but I think they are off. Hello? Nope. Well, don't know if people can hear me or not.
I hear you.
I know you can hear me, but the others. Can anybody hear me?
Are you back?
Keep talking. Okay, that's saying to keep talking.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so applying in Taiwan for homeschooling is a good idea because your child can then receive its certificates. And when the child receives the last certificate of finishing high school in Taiwan. It is actually recognized by many universities in US, in Canada, in UK, in other countries. So there are right now quite a few children from mixed families, Taiwanese families, that got into the universities, colleges all around the world, who were homeschooling in Taiwan. So they did not, or those homeschoolers here who got accepted to Taiwanese universities without taking the Taiwanese university entrance exams, but simply going the route of applying to the university and showing what they can do, what they know, what they are interested in. So right now there are many different ways that kids can get into colleges even after homeschooling. And, it's just another way to do it. I know, Dina, do you want to add something?
No, I think you have the freedom to choose your curriculum, the freedom to choose what you want to do. So I do think, it's been very good for us to homeschool. You're always going to face problems and issues anywhere you're homeschooling at. So it's, we're still doing it after 15 years. So obviously,
yeah.
So, and like Jenny said, once you get through that first time, after that, they get to know you and everything else. So it's really, Taiwan's a very homeschool. The homeschool community in Taiwan is really good, really awesome, very supportive. And everyone's here to help out each other as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So. Tim is back and Jenny is back.
Oh, we're back. Oh, okay. Just we can't see ourselves, but that's quite all right. Yep.
Oh, we can see you and hear you pretty well.
Oh, good. Right. Well, thank you all for the 8 of us still online after this very difficult start. And actually, among the 8 of us, 4 are people who are either the conference speaker or the staff. So only the other 4 are the real audience. So, but I think some of you are watching on the YouTube. So I want to thank you very much for helping us out. And so before I go, I want to thank my co-host Jenny Wilkins, and who has not shy to share her laughter and her opinion on home education, and gave us very strong support, encouraging word to all the international families. And while it may look difficult, but trust me, it's worth it to become part of the family. And don't go rouge, don't go underground. It's for the future of your kid. And I want to thank Dina for joining from Taidong, and even have a better connection than we are in the middle of Da'an区of all the places. And also her wonderful experience of fighting the local bureaucracy about her child's real identity being an Aboriginal homeschooler, which is probably the 1 in 100 multiplied by 1 in 1,000. So it's like 1 in a million combination of homeschool population. And I want to thank Dorota joining us from Japan in her busy schedule of reading 185 homeschool application, and each one is about 50 pages long. So, it's like between her 75,000 pages of stuff, and she still take time to do it. And also everybody who is watching on YouTube in the conference room. And I wish you all have a very happy weekend and many prosperous years of home education, like Dina, who is still stuck in this thing for another decade or so.
Well, yes.
Okay, thank you, and bye for now. Bye. 好，谢谢。